Alright, Lionel, when x is 0, what do you get out? 0. It says 0 here. Alright, when x is 1, Melissa, what do you get out? -3. When x is 2, Andrea, what do you get out? Okay, let's try it again. I'll wait on you. When x is 2. -6 is correct. When x is 3, what do you get out? -9. And when x is 4, -12. All right, next, Tina makes $9 per hour exact. Take a pencil. I want you to put a box around $9 per hour. How would I write that as a fraction?
$9 or under 1 over 1.
1 what?
Hour.
Okay, break it down. What's that called? That's the unit rate. If it's the unit rate, it's also the what? The what? I heard it.
Constant.
It's the constant. So can you give me the equation?
Yes.
What is it?
Y equals 9,000.
9x.
9x. There we go. I want all that written down. You gave me 3 answers just from that one statement in that problem. Okay, up to the table. She makes $9 per hour. If she works 5 hours, how much is her pay? Kanisha? $45. If she works 10 hours, how much is her pay? $90. 15 hours. 135. Good. 20 hours. 180. 25 hours. At 30 hours? Okay, you know how many hours you typically work in a week? 40. Or see what she would make 40 hours. Do it. How much is she going to bring home after working 8 hours a day for a whole 5 days? How much?
360.
360. 360 a week. Is that a lot of money? No, it's not. My grocery bill's $100 a week or more. That'll barely pay for groceries and gas. That's chump change. Okay? So she saves a lot, but it's hard to save it, and that's all you make. That's why you gotta go to college and have a good career. Okay? Yes, it is. In the table above, what is the constant of variation? What's the constant?
9.
Didn't we just talk about the constant for this problem before we even started? 9. We did all this up here before we even started the problem. And you're telling me 45? 5? Alright. We did all of that talking, and then we got down here and couldn't even answer the question. Does it make sense? Alright, next. Number 3. Y equals 5x. When y is 500, what do you get? 25. Abel. When x is 10, what do you get? 50. 1. When x is 20. Amar. When x is 30. Yes, sir. All right. Naomi. When x is 40. 200. Good. Okay. What is the constant? Right there. See the constant right there? There it is. Draw an arrow. There's your constant. It was given to you in the equation. Andrea, what's your question? What do you mean you can go by 5?
How do you know what to go by?
Because the rule says you multiply each x by 5 each time.
Oh. What's the other one doing?
It says you take the X value and you multiply it by 5. So each time you multiply by 5.
Oh my.
This was from plug and show that we did yesterday. Where we wrote it like this, y equals 5, and then we wrote using colored pencil. We did y equals 5 times, and the first x is 5. That's 25. Y equals 5 times, the next x is 10. So you get 50. Remember that?
Yeah.
And that's what that is.
So I was kind of confused. What if the girl did it?
Then you can divide the 5. So you would go 50 divided by 10, you get 5. 100 divided by 20, you get 5. 150 divided by 30, you get 5. Remember, you divide to find the constant. We talked about that on the very first day. Okay? All right. Question 4. It says complete the table for the weight of granite stepping stones. You know what stepping stones are? A little bit
Whenever they're on the floor, whenever you go into your house.
Yes,
Yeah.
like a walkway. Okay? They weigh them. So we're going to figure out the weight of so many stones when they're stacked on top of each other. So if you have 0 stones, how many pounds? 0 pounds. 5 stones, how many pounds? 30. So 10 stones would be 60, and 15 stones would be 90. All right, I want to find the constant. So I want to start here. Remember when we did the division symbols down through here? Remember this? So we did 30. We would do 30. Divide by 5. What's that give me? I get 6. 60. Divide by 10. I get 6. 90. Divide by 15. I get. That's when you divide to find the constant because it didn't give us an equation. So what is the constant? 6. There's your constant. Write the equation for the table. So what would I put? Y equals 6x. Good. Okay, next. How much would 75 stones weigh? 450 pounds. 450 lbs. Because each one weighs how much? Each stone weighs 6 pounds. So if I have 75 of them, I'd multiply, that gives me my 450. Okay, Walmart. Sal earns $12 per hour. Put a box around that. $12 per hour at Walmart Automotive. How do I write that as a fraction?
12 over 1.
So $12 over 1 what?
1 hour. 1 hour.
1 hour. Okay, what's this called when we have 1 on the bottom? That's a unit rate. I hope you're getting this down because you have 2 activities you're going to do that we have to do all this. If we know the unit rate, that's also that's the constant. So what would the equation be? Y equals 12x. We get all of that from just that one little statement. Mm-hmm.
So then you do 12 times 4.
Do what?
And then you have to do 12 multiply out those numbers.
So you're going to multiply each time by 12 to get your answers right here. You're exactly right. Yes, Alex. Okay. Alex, if she works 4 hours, how much? $48. Melissa, 8 hours. Yes, ma'am. Jerry, 12 hours. Will, 192. Ryan, you what? Look up here. 240. All right. Diana, 24 hours. One more time. You have a calculator over there? Use it. Okay. Do you even know what to multiply? Yes, ma'am. Good job. There we go. All right, next. This time it gave us the rule for what we're going to do. This is the plugging chug again. So let's write this in words. What is it telling me to do to every x value right here? It wants me to do what with it first? Okay, write that down. Everybody write it. It wants you to multiply by 4. And then what? And then add 2. Multiply by 4 and then add 2. Okay. So if I take 5, I multiply by 4 and then add 2, what do I get? 22. If I take 10, multiply by 4 and then add 2. If I take 20, multiply by 4 and add 2. If I take 30, multiply by 4 and then add 2. Yes. 40, multiply by 4 and then add 2. Okay, any questions? So, Andrea, back to your question from earlier when we had the y equals 5x. If you can write it in words, you don't have to worry about writing it out each time like this. Okay? All I do is tell myself, this is telling me to multiply each one of these by 4 and then add 2 to it to get my answers. You understand that? Okay, so what's this one telling me to do then? On number 7. So, nope. Multiply by what? By -3. And then do what? Subtract 2. Write that down. Okay? Ready? Okay, if I multiply 3 times -3, what do we get? 3 times -3. -9. Then subtract 2. Nope. -9. Subtract 2. What do you get? -9 and -2. No, 9 negatives and 2 negatives. You know what? -11. Hello? We've been doing interviews since January. Sorry, August. Since August. February. Okay. Take 9, multiply by -3. What do you get? 9 times -3. -27. Okay? And then we subtract 2. -29. There we go. 27 negatives, 2 more negatives gives us 29 negatives. Nothing goes away. Add them up and keep your sign. No, we're not using the triangle when you're doing this. No. All right, next. 12 times -3. -36, and then we subtract 2. So 36 negatives and 2 negatives gives us -38. And we're going to X this one out. It was written correctly. All right, last one, 18. 18 times -3, then subtract 2 gives us -56. Okay. Any questions about this assignment? Don't worry about the back right now. Okay. The next activity that we're doing today takes it a step further. Do you remember from yesterday, I hope you do, when we did the Coke call? Yes? Okay, we had 2 Pepsis, right? 2 of them was how much? $3. So how much is one? $1.50. Same thing here. We have 2 Tide detergents. 2 of them will be $8.95. How much is one of them? Figure it out. Calculate. 2 of them is $8.95. How much is one bottle? Huh?
$4.47.
We need to round it? Okay, so it's $4.48 per bottle, right? Each one's $4.48. That makes sense? Okay, question 2. What is the cost per ounce? Well, how many ounces are in each one? There's 55 ounces of liquid in here. I want to know how much 1 ounce is. Well, we know that all 55 ounces will be how much money? How much money is it for the bottle? Oh, how much is it for 1 bottle? Yes. So 55 ounces costs us $4.48. It's $4.48 for 55 ounces. So you need to figure out how much is 1 ounce. That's why you have to set up a proportion to figure it out. You have to set up a proportion. All right, I'm going to hand this activity out to you. I've answered number 1 for you. I've got you started on number 2. You'll have to figure out the rest. If you need help, you're welcome to ask. You will complete this whole assignment. When you get down here, you got to graph. You have to make a graph. So you'll have a piece of graph paper stapled to this assignment. And you're going to draw you an X and Y axis. And then you graph it on a piece of graph paper. The points you get from this graph right here. You are welcome to ask for help. Okay? Mr. B and I are not going to spoon feed you. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, give me the answer.
We're not going to give you the answer. And we're not going to spoon feed you every step of the way. You have to think for yourself. Help yourself. I've already spoon fed you number 1. Okay? So think. Don't come over and say, I don't get it. Be specific. Where are you stuck? What do you need? That's the first thing we're going to ask you. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Yes? You are welcome to ask for help. You must get this finished before we leave. You see what time it is? This has to be done before you get up out of here tonight. Because you have another homework assignment to do. All right. We're going to turn you loose, and you're welcome to ask for help on this. You're not working in partners or pairs. I want you working by yourself so you can focus on what you can do. All right. Mr. B's handing you the assignment now.